The galaxy was full of strange races and ancient empires, but none were as feared as the Valgor. They were tall, armored beings with skin like polished stone and eyes that glowed faintly in the dark. For thousands of years, the Valgor had called themselves the galaxy's greatest hunters. They lived for the chase, and their pride came from stalking the most dangerous creatures across countless worlds. To them, the hunt was not only tradition, it was proof of superiority. They did not fight wars like other civilizations. Instead, they captured intelligent beings and released them on alien worlds, only to hunt them down for sport. Entire species trembled at the thought of being chosen as the next prey. When their scouts discovered a new species from a blue-green planet called Earth, the Valgor were pleased. Humans, as they were called, seemed weak compared to other races. They had no claws, no fangs, no armored hides. Their bodies were fragile, their weapons primitive, their world still learning the first steps of space travel. To the Valgor, they looked perfect, an easy prey, a new sport. So they gathered a group of humans, chosen from different corners of their home planet, and brought them to a vast forested moon. Towering trees with glowing leaves filled the air with a strange silver light, while mist drifted across the ground. Strange animal calls echoed through the distance. The perfect arena for a hunt. The humans were released in the middle of the jungle with nothing but their clothes. Around them, the forest stretched endless and unfamiliar. Hidden high in the trees, Valgor hunters watched and waited. Their energy blades hummed softly. Their hunting masks displayed every movement of the prey below. At first, the humans reacted the way the Valgor expected. Some shouted in panic, calling for help. Others stumbled through the strange forest, trying to understand where they were. The Valgor laughed quietly among themselves. They thought this would be over quickly. But something soon changed. One of the humans, a woman in her 40s with sharp eyes and a steady voice, quickly began to take charge. Her name was Elena Ward, a commander in Earth's Space Defense Forces. She did not allow panic to take root. She ordered the others to stay together, to remain calm, to stop wasting energy shouting into the silent forest. "Listen," she told them. "We are not safe here. We are being watched. We must act as one if we are to survive." The others listened. Even in fear, her voice carried strength. The group began to move, not randomly but with purpose. They chose paths with thick cover, avoiding open ground. They began collecting sharp stones and broken branches. Some climbed trees to study the land, while others started building crude tools. The Valgor hunters noticed this behavior. It surprised them. Most prey ran in all directions when released. They tried to hide separately and they were picked off easily. But these humans were doing something different. They were forming a group. They were planning. Hours passed. The humans worked in silence, communicating with hand signals instead of loud voices. They began to sharpen wood into spears. They tied vines into cords. They moved with a kind of focus that unsettled the hunters. One Valgor, confident and eager, moved ahead of the others. He wanted the first kill. From a high tree branch, he leapt silently, his energy blade glowing in his hand. But when he landed, he stepped exactly where the humans had prepared the ground. The vines tightened around his leg, pulling him up into the air. The alien roared in anger, hanging upside down like a trapped animal. The humans rushed forward, spears in hand, their eyes fierce. The hunter swung his blade, trying to cut himself free, but they struck before he could. The first human spear pierced his shoulder. Another hit his chest. The Valgor had expected screams of fear, but instead there was silence, and a cold focus in the humans' faces. For the first time, the hunters felt something strange. Unease. The humans dragged the alien's weapon away, studying it with curious eyes. It was heavy and strange, but they learned how to activate it. A bright glow filled the air as the blade hummed alive. Commander Elena looked at her people. "We're not prey," she said. "We never have been. On our world, we faced predators before, lions, wolves, beasts larger than us. And every time we learned to fight back. These hunters think we're weak. Let's prove them wrong." From the shadows of the forest, the Valgor hunters watched silently. One of their own was gone, taken not by luck but by planning. The humans had built a trap in less than a day. They had armed themselves with crude weapons. They had shown no fear of blood. The leader of the Valgor hunting pack narrowed his glowing eyes. "Interesting," he muttered. "They adapt quickly." The other hunters shifted uncomfortably. For the first time, they were not certain this would be an easy game. The humans moved deeper into the jungle, but not as prey fleeing a predator. They moved like predators themselves, quiet, organized, alert. They marked paths, left signals for each other, and studied the land carefully. Night fell across the alien moon. The silver glow of the trees faded into darkness, and strange cries echoed in the distance. The Valgor usually loved the night hunt, when prey panicked in the dark. But this night felt different. Hidden in the shadows, Elena and her people lit no fires. They sat silently, sharpening spears and planning. Their eyes adjusted to the darkness, their ears listened to every sound. One of the younger humans whispered, "Why are they doing this? Why capture us?" Elena answered calmly, "Because they think we are sport. To them, we are nothing more than animals to chase. But they have made a mistake. They don't understand what humans are. What are we?" the young man asked. Elena's eyes shone in the darkness. "We are survivors, and soon they'll learn it." Above them, hidden in the treetops, the Valgor hunters watched and listened. And for the first time in centuries of hunting, they felt the faint chill of doubt. The game had begun. But perhaps this time the prey would not run. Perhaps this time the prey would fight back. The jungle moon was never truly silent. In the daytime, glowing insects drifted between silver leaves, their wings buzzing softly in the warm air. At night, strange calls echoed from unseen creatures, rising and falling like a chorus of whispers. The Valgor hunters had always loved this place. It was the perfect arena for their games, filled with shadows, traps, and the smell of fear. But tonight, something felt different. The humans were not behaving like prey. From their hidden vantage points in the trees, the Valgor watched the group move with care. Instead of running in panic, they stuck together. Instead of hiding separately, they worked as one. And instead of waiting helplessly, they built traps and weapons from the jungle itself. The leader of the hunting pack, Koresh Val, narrowed his glowing eyes. He was older than the others, his armor decorated with scars from past hunts. To him, this should have been simple. The humans were not strong, not fast, not armored like beasts from other worlds. Yet as he observed them, he felt a flicker of unease. "Commander," whispered one of his hunters, crouched beside him on a high branch. "They should be panicking. Why are they planning?" Koresh gave no answer. His gaze remained fixed on the humans. On the ground, Elena Ward moved quietly through the forest with her people. They had grown tired, hungry, and thirsty, but they did not stop. Every step mattered. She had organized them into small groups: scouts, builders, guards. The scouts climbed trees to watch for danger. The builders crafted spears, sharp stones, and rope from vines. The guards stayed close, ready to defend against sudden attack. Already they had captured one Valgor weapon. Though heavy and strange, Elena assigned 2 men to study it. Every detail could be useful. "We can't match their strength," Elena whispered to her group as they paused near a stream. "But strength isn't everything. We have something better, our minds. Remember that. If they hunt us, then we must become the hunters." Her people nodded. Far away, one of the Valgor grew impatient. His name was Drak, a younger hunter eager to prove himself. He hated waiting. To him, these humans looked fragile, like animals pretending to be clever. "I will end this quickly," Drak said. He leapt from his perch and disappeared into the trees. Koresh did not stop him. Sometimes a reckless hunter's failure revealed more than success. Drak moved swiftly, his armor blending with the shadows. His mask highlighted the heat of human bodies below. He smiled behind his mask. There were 3 of them alone, gathering fruit near a fallen log. Easy prey. He raised his energy blade, its hum breaking the silence. He leapt down, ready to strike, but the ground beneath him gave way. The log was hollow, and inside it humans had carved sharp wooden spikes. Drak fell hard, his armor cracking against the jagged points. His blade flickered, sputtered, then fell from his hand. The 3 humans did not scream or flee. Instead, they sprang forward, spears raised. One stabbed into the joints of his armor. Another swung a rock down on his mask, cracking the lens. The third pressed a sharpened spear into his chest until his body stopped moving. It was over in seconds. The Valgor hunters watching from above froze in shock. They had expected the humans to die in terror. Instead, they had killed one of the hunters. Koresh's glowing eyes narrowed. They learned too quickly. The humans dragged Drak's weapon out of the pit, their faces grim but steady. For them, this was not just survival. It was war. They had claimed another piece of alien technology, another tool to study. That night, the group sat in silence under the cover of trees. The alien weapon glowed faintly as they passed it around, learning its weight, its shape, its strange switches. A young man named Daniel looked uneasy. "Commander, we killed one of them today. Won't they come at us harder?" Elena's eyes were cold but steady. "Yes, they will. But remember this, we were not the first to kill. They captured us, they released us here like animals. They see us as prey. If we do nothing, we die. If we fight, we live. Which will you choose?" Daniel swallowed and nodded. "We fight." The others echoed softly. "We fight." Elena allowed herself a small smile. Humanity had always been at its best when survival demanded unity. On Earth, they had once been prey to lions, tigers, and wolves. They had survived not with strength, but with courage, cleverness, and cooperation. And now, here in this alien jungle, history was repeating itself. The next morning, the Valgor prepared their counterattack. Koresh gathered his hunters in the shadows of a ridge. His voice was low, almost a growl. "These humans are not ordinary prey. They fight back. They learn. That makes them dangerous." He paused, letting the silence sink in. "So we must remind them what true hunters are." The others nodded, gripping their weapons. The hunt resumed. The humans had moved to higher ground, a slope covered in tangled roots and moss. Elena chose the location carefully. It gave them a view of the forest below, and the roots could be shaped into more traps. They were ready when the Valgor attacked. The hunters struck from 3 sides, their glowing blades cutting through the mist. Humans scrambled, but not in chaos. They moved into their positions. Vines snapped as hidden traps swung into place. Spiked branches crashed down, forcing the hunters apart. One Valgor lunged at a man, but the human rolled aside, leading him into a pit. Another fired a stun shot from his wrist weapon, but the humans had covered themselves in mud, masking their heat signatures. The shot went wide, harmless. It was not easy. The Valgor were strong, faster, and heavily armed. Several humans were injured. Their spears splintered against alien armor. Yet still they fought, their eyes burning with determination. Elena herself faced a hunter nearly twice her size. He swung his blade down, the hum splitting the air. She dodged, the edge slicing a tree trunk beside her. Quickly, she jabbed her spear into the joints of his armor. It did not pierce deeply, but it slowed him enough for others to strike. Together, they forced him back until he fell into the vines they had prepared. The humans swarmed, pulling the alien down, stripping his weapon away. Another hunter lost. From the ridge above, Koresh watched, silent and still. His hunters were falling, not because the humans were stronger, but because they were clever. They adapted to every move, every tactic. A strange feeling crept over him. It was not anger. It was respect mixed with something colder. Fear. By nightfall, the jungle was quiet again. The Valgor had retreated into the shadows, regrouping. The humans sat together around a circle of sharpened sticks, their breathing heavy but their spirits fierce. They had survived another day. More than that, they had won. Elena looked at her people, proud and unshaken. "They think we are prey," she said softly, so only her group could hear. "But today we showed them something else. We are not running. We are not hiding. From this day forward, we hunt them." And in the silent darkness of the alien forest, the hunters became uneasy once more. Because for the first time in their long history, the Valgor realized their sport might turn into their own nightmare. The jungle moon seemed calmer after the battle, but it was a silence filled with tension. The glowing trees swayed in the breeze, their leaves rustling like whispers. Somewhere in the distance, an alien beast gave a long, hollow cry. The Valgor hunters rested in the shadows, their pride wounded, their numbers fewer than before. Never in their long history had prey fought back like this. Koresh Val, the hunting leader, stood alone on a rocky cliff, looking down at the forest where the humans had hidden themselves. His glowing eyes narrowed with thought. He had hunted dangerous creatures before. Monsters with teeth like swords, beasts that could crush metal with their jaws. But those had been animals, predictable, simple. The humans were something else. They learned. They changed their tactics after every attack. They had no natural claws or armor, yet they turned the jungle itself into a weapon. "They are different," Koresh muttered. Behind him, one of his hunters shifted uneasily. They are clever but still fragile. Give me a squad and I will burn them out. Koresh did not answer immediately. He knew his warriors were restless, angry that they had lost comrades to prey they once thought weak. But anger was dangerous. It clouded judgment. Finally he spoke. We will not rush. The humans are like fire. Strike carelessly and they spread. In the forest below, Commander Elena Ward knelt beside the injured. 2 of her people had been cut badly during the last fight, but they lived. The group had built a shelter from branches and vines, hidden beneath the roots of a massive glowing tree. There they tended to wounds, sharpened spears, and studied the captured weapons. Elena examined one of the alien blades. Its hum filled the air when she activated it, glowing like a shard of lightning. The weapon was too heavy for her to swing well, but it was powerful. She passed it to Daniel, the strongest among them. Learn it, she said. Study it until you understand it. These weapons can turn the fight. Daniel nodded, gripping the weapon tightly. Around them, the group grew quieter, more focused. The fear that had once controlled them was gone. Now there was determination. A young woman named Maya sat sharpening stones into arrowheads. Her hands moved quickly, her face stern. Do you think they'll stop, Commander? She asked softly. Elena shook her head. No, they'll come harder now. But that means we must be ready. Remember, every time they attack, we learn more about them. Every fight makes us stronger. She looked at each of them in turn, her voice steady. They think they are hunters. Let's show them they are wrong. The Valgor did not wait long to prove her right. At dawn, the forest shook with the sound of machines. From the tree line, strange hovering drones appeared, glowing eyes scanning the ground. They moved with sharp clicks, recording every movement. The humans froze, watching from cover. What are those? Whispered Daniel. Scouts, Elena said grimly. They're searching for us. The drones spread across the forest, sweeping beams of light. They were fast, efficient, and connected to the hunters' masks. If even one found their hiding place, the Valgor would come. But Elena had no plan to hide. Instead, she smiled faintly. Good, let's see how their machines handle us. The humans spread out, moving silently. They covered themselves with mud and leaves to mask their heat. They used mirrors of polished stone to reflect the drone's light beams, confusing their sensors, and when the first drone drew too close, they struck. A hidden net of vines pulled tight, dragging the machine into the trees. Rock smashed into its glowing eye until it shattered. Sparks lit the air. Another drone followed the sound, but the humans led it into a narrow ravine. When it descended, they rolled a boulder onto it, crushing it against the rocks. One by one, the drones fell. The Valgor, watching from afar, saw their screens go dark. What? One hunter growled in frustration. They destroy even our machines? Koresh's silence was heavy. He had underestimated these humans again. By midday, the humans had not only destroyed the drones, but they had salvaged pieces from them. Small energy cells, wires, metal fragments. All were carefully collected. Maya and 2 others began fashioning crude bombs from the energy packs. They had no training in alien technology, but their instincts guided them. We've used scrap before, Maya muttered, her hands steady. On Earth, we built weapons from nothing during wars. This is no different, Elena watched proudly. Good, make them count. The Valgor grew restless. Without their drones, they could not track the humans as easily. The jungle was large, and every shadow now felt like danger. Finally, Koresh decided to strike directly. He gathered his best hunters and moved toward the ridge where the humans had last been seen. The hunt began again. The humans knew they were coming. Scouts hidden in the treetops saw the hunters moving through the jungle, their glowing weapons cutting through branches. The signal was given, prepare the traps. The Valgor advanced confident. But then the ground beneath one of them exploded. A crude bomb made from drone parts tore through his armor, sending him crashing into the dirt. Another hunter shouted in alarm. Before he could react, a rain of sharpened spears flew from the trees. The hunters raised their energy shields, but the humans used numbers, striking from all sides. The jungle itself seemed to fight against the Valgor. Nets dropped from above. Spiked pits opened beneath their feet. And all the while, humans moved like shadows, attacking, retreating, attacking again. Koresh roared in frustration, his blade flashing as he cut through a net. Stand firm. They are nothing but fragile prey. But even as he shouted, he knew it was a lie. His hunters were bleeding. Their armor was cracked. Their pride was breaking. In the chaos, Elena faced another hunter. He swung wildly, anger in his movements. She dodged, leading him toward a cliff edge. With a sharp whistle, she signaled Daniel. He emerged from the shadows, swinging the stolen alien blade. The hunter blocked the strike, but Elena had already moved. She pushed him backward, straight into the trap, a hidden pit lined with sharpened stakes. His body fell with a sickening crash. The human stood over the pit, breathing hard. Elena raised her hand, her voice strong. "This is our jungle now." By the end of the day, 2 more Valgor were dead and the rest retreated. The humans had not only survived, they had dominated. Koresh stood on the ridge, his hunters weary and silent. His eyes glowed faintly, but the pride within them had dimmed. "They are not prey," he admitted at last. "They are predators." His warriors shifted uncomfortably, knowing the truth of his words. In the jungle below, the humans gathered around their small fireless camp, their faces hardened, their spirits unbroken. Elena looked at her people, her voice low but clear. "They think the hunt is theirs," she said, "but it belongs to us now. We are not running anymore. From this day forward, we are the hunters." And with those words, the balance of power shifted. The tables had truly turned. The jungle had never felt more alive or more dangerous. Every rustle of leaves, every distant scream made the humans tense. For days they had survived, adapted, and fought back against the Valgor hunters. But now the alien predators were growing desperate. Their losses had been too great, their pride too deeply wounded. Koresh Val, the leader of the Valgor, gathered his remaining hunters in a hollowed canyon, their weapons humming softly. "Enough hesitation," he said, his voice sharp. "These humans have learned from our mistakes. They are clever, yes, but they are still prey. Today we end this hunt." The hunters nodded, though their glowing eyes flickered with doubt. They were strong, but their confidence was shaken. Elena Ward watched from the treetops, her scouts whispering reports. "They're coming in force," said one scout, a thin young man named Lucas. "At least 10 of them armed and ready." Elena's eyes scanned the dense forest. Her people were tired. They had fought, built traps, and adapted. Injuries were healing slowly. Food was running low and sleep was scarce. But she did not show doubt. "Then we make this our best plan yet," she said. "They think they can crush us with numbers. Let's show them that numbers mean nothing when you know the land and trust each other." She divided her group into squads again. One would act as bait, drawing the hunters into the traps. Another would stay hidden, ready to strike at the right moment. The third squad, including herself, would control the central area, the heart of their ambush. The Valgor advanced, their boots crushing the undergrowth. Drones followed, scanning for life. The glowing blades of their weapons reflected in the faint light, filtering through the alien trees. They moved like a storm, confident in their strength. But the humans were ready. They had prepared more than simple traps. Entire sections of the forest had been rigged with pulleys, nets, and hidden spikes. Some trees were weakened so that when leaned upon they would collapse with a roar. Vines were twisted into snares, and sharp rocks were strategically placed along the hunters' expected paths. Elena signaled, and the bait squad stepped out into an open clearing. They moved as if fleeing, shouting, making themselves look vulnerable. Koresh's hunters smiled. They had their prey exactly where they wanted it. Energy blades hummed, weapons readied. With a command they charged. The humans ran, but not blindly. As they crossed the clearing, the first set of traps sprang. Vines lifted hunters into the air, suspending them like puppets. Hidden pits swallowed others, and branches whipped down with precision. One hunter was caught in a net strung between 2 massive trees, swinging helplessly as the humans attacked from above. Sparks flew as stolen alien weapons met armor, and shouts echoed across the jungle. The humans moved like shadows, coordinated and deliberate. Every attack had purpose. Every retreat was planned. Koresh's roar of frustration cut through the chaos. "Do not underestimate them," he shouted. "Strike harder. Kill them!" For a moment, the humans faced real danger. A hunter broke free from a trap and lunged at Elena. She dodged, but he struck quickly behind her, sending a rock flying into the camp. Daniel reacted instantly, striking the hunter with the alien blade they had salvaged. Sparks lit the air as metal clashed. The humans fought not with brute force alone, but with strategy. They anticipated the hunters' movements, predicted their attacks, and exploited weaknesses in their armor. Every captured weapon became a tool, every trap a weapon. Yet the Valgor were relentless. One by one, humans found themselves surrounded. pressed against walls of alien muscle and glowing blades. Injuries mounted. Fatigue threatened to slow them. Elena knew this could be the end. She signaled a regroup. They retreated into a hidden ravine, where the last of their traps could be used to their full advantage. The Valgor pursued, confident they had the humans trapped, but Elena had saved her best plan for last. The ravine was narrow, with high walls of rock on both sides. She had hidden sharpened stakes in the ground and lined the walls with swinging logs rigged from vines. The humans moved silently into position, holding their ground, waiting for the hunters to enter. When Koresh's group reached the center of the ravine, Elena gave the signal. Rocks fell from above, striking armor. Swinging logs slammed into hunters, knocking them off balance. Hidden stakes pierced the ground, tripping warriors. The humans attacked from both sides, using everything they had learned over the past days. The Valgor struggled. Their numbers meant little in such a confined space. Every step was dangerous. Every movement could trigger a trap. Their pride and confidence began to crumble. Koresh himself charged at Elena, energy blade raised high. "You will not escape, human," he roared. Elena met him with a calm face, her spear aimed precisely. She dodged his strike, moved to his side, and triggered a concealed tripwire. Koresh stumbled, crashing into a swing log trap. The blade cut a branch above, which fell with a heavy thud. He landed hard, stunned. Daniel and 2 others moved in to disarm him, and Elena held her spear firmly. For the first time, Koresh felt fear. Around them, the rest of the hunters were either trapped or retreating. One by one, the humans took control. When the battle finally ended, the forest was quiet again, filled with the heavy breathing of humans and the faint sparks of damaged alien weapons. The survivors stood among broken traps and fallen hunters, their faces marked with sweat, dirt, and determination. Elena looked at her people, proud and steady. "We survived," she said. "We fought when it seemed impossible. And we won because we trusted each other, because we adapted, because we never gave up." Maya, leaning on a tree, smiled tiredly. "They thought they were hunting us," she said. "But we were hunting them all along." Even the wounded nodded, knowing she was right. The humans had not only survived, they had become predators in their own right. Far above, Koresh watched silently. His pride was shattered, his hunters decimated. The humans were nothing like any prey he had faced before. They were smart, fast, and fearless. They adapted with every move he made. For the first time, he understood something vital. Humans were not weak. They were not fragile. They were relentless. They were the kind of hunters that learned from every mistake, that grew stronger after every fight, that used not just weapons, but intelligence and teamwork. "They are apex predators," he admitted quietly, the words tasting bitter on his tongue. The surviving Valgor withdrew into the forest, their pride wounded, their confidence shattered. They would live to tell the tale, but they would never underestimate humans again. Below, Elena gathered her people. They had survived another day. They had turned the tables completely. "The hunt is over," she said softly, "at least for now. But remember this is what we can do when we work together. We are strong, we are clever, and we never give up." The humans nodded, their spirits unbroken, their resolve stronger than ever. They were no longer the hunted. They were the hunters. And in that jungle, on that distant moon, the Valgor learned a lesson they would never forget. Never underestimate a human. The sun rose over the alien jungle, a faint silver light filtering through the glowing leaves. Mist hung low, curling around the massive tree trunks like silent ghosts. The forest was calm now, but the quiet was deceptive. Every shadow seemed alive. Every sound carried weight. The humans gathered silently. Their bodies were tired, their muscles aching, their clothes torn and dirt-stained. Yet their eyes shone with determination. They had survived impossible odds. They had turned the tables on a species that had once thought them weak. Elena Ward, standing at the center of the group, looked over the forest edge. Somewhere beyond, the remaining Valgor still lurked, wounded but alive. They were smart, powerful, and dangerous, but no longer superior. "We've made them think twice," she said softly. "But this is not just survival. This is a message. They came to hunt us for sport, but today, we are the hunters." Her people nodded. Maya checked the sharpened spears. Daniel cleaned the alien blade. Lucas and the scouts prepared the traps once more. Every action was deliberate. Every movement spoke of confidence. The Valgor had gathered in the ruins of their previous ambush. Koresh Val, his armor dented and scorched, surveyed his hunters. Their numbers had been reduced, their pride shattered. They learned too fast, muttered one of his younger hunters. We cannot control them as easily as we thought. Koresh's glowing eyes narrowed. He had hunted for centuries and faced countless species. He had never been bested by prey. Yet these humans were different. Every battle had taught them something new. Every attack had made them more dangerous. They are not ordinary prey, Koresh admitted, and the galaxy must know it. He signaled the hunters to follow him. This would be the final confrontation. They would not retreat. They would end this hunt once and for all. Elena had anticipated this. Scouts reported movement, and she had prepared carefully. The humans did not run. They did not hide. They positioned themselves strategically, using every part of the jungle as a weapon. Hidden pits, tripwires, swinging logs, and sharp stakes were placed along expected paths. At higher points, makeshift archers and scouts waited to strike. The stolen alien weapons were ready. Every piece of the forest had become a trap. When the Valgor advanced, they were confident. They had strength, experience, and numbers, but as they stepped into the jungle, every move played into human hands. The first hunter fell silently into a pit lined with stakes. Another was caught in a net strung between trees, swinging helplessly as arrows and spears struck him. Energy blasts from stolen weapons forced others back. Rocks and logs rained down from above. Chaos erupted among the Valgor. They were strong, but in the narrow paths, every advantage turned against them. Humans struck from above, below, and the sides. Every attack was precise, calculated, and relentless. Koresh roared in frustration. Do not let them win. But the humans were already in control. Elena moved through the battlefield with calm precision, leading her people like a general of old. Each trap triggered, each weapon struck, each human acted in perfect unison. One Valgor lunged at her, energy blade raised high. Elena dodged, leading him toward a swinging log. The hunter stumbled, crashing into the trap. Daniel struck from the side with the alien blade, disabling him further. In the shadows, Maya and other scouts flanked hunters with spears, knocking them into hidden pits. Lucas used the stolen drone's energy packs to create smoke and confusion, giving the humans tactical advantage. It was not just physical skill that gave humans the upper hand, it was their ability to adapt. Every time a hunter attempted a new tactic, the humans countered. Every trap that failed led to a new one. Every mistake taught a lesson. The Valgor had thought this hunt would be a sport, an easy victory. Instead, it had become a nightmare. Koresh realized the truth as he fought alongside his remaining hunters. Humans were not prey. They were apex predators, hunters in every sense. They were clever, brave, and unstoppable when united. He had faced many dangerous creatures, but he had never encountered a species that learned so fast, fought so smart, and refused to yield. They are not weak, he muttered under his breath. They are unstoppable. The battle raged for hours. The jungle, once their hunting ground, became a labyrinth of human traps. Hunters fell one by one, their pride and confidence shattered. Elena and her people moved through the chaos with deadly precision, avoiding unnecessary risks but striking decisively when the moment came. At last, only Koresh and a handful of hunters remained. They were surrounded, exhausted, and wary. The humans had fought without pause, without fear, and without hesitation. Elena stepped forward, spear in hand, her calm gaze fixed on Koresh. It's over, she said. You came here to hunt us for sport. But you've learned something. We are not prey. We are hunters. Koresh dropped his weapon slowly, pride battling with respect. He was beaten not by strength but by intelligence, teamwork, and sheer will. You are different, he admitted. We have never faced prey like you, never. Elena nodded. We survive because we adapt. We fight because we must, and we endure because we never give up. You came to hunt humans, but today you have been hunted. The remaining Valgor, humbled and injured, retreated into the shadows of the forest. They had learned a lesson they would never forget. Humans were not to be underestimated. Every galaxy they entered would now hear whispers of the blue planet and its extraordinary inhabitants. Elena turned to her people, her voice proud and strong. We've survived. We've learned. We've fought. And we've proven that no matter the odds, humans endure. We are the apex predators. Her people cheered quietly, their spirits unbroken despite the exhaustion and injuries. They had faced impossible odds, and they had prevailed. The jungle, once a place of terror, now belonged to them. Every trap, every clever maneuver, every calculated strike had turned the tide. They had survived the hunt, and they had become legends. In the days that followed, the humans explored the alien jungle cautiously. They repaired their tools, healed their wounds, and studied the Valgor weapons and technology. Every discovery was carefully noted. They knew the Valgor would return, or that other species might follow. But they were ready. They had learned, they had adapted, and they had grown stronger than ever. Stories of the humans' victory would spread throughout the galaxy. Captured species would whisper of the blue planet, of its clever people, of warriors who survived impossible hunts and turned the tables on the galaxy's greatest predators. Humans were no longer just survivors. They were predators in their own right. And somewhere, deep in the forest shadows, Kareshval remembered the lesson clearly. Never underestimate a human, because humans fought not just with weapons or strength, but with courage, intelligence, unity, and the unyielding will to survive, and that made them unstoppable. The galaxy had changed. The humans had proven that they were the apex predators, and the Valgor and any who would dare challenge humans in the future would never forget it.